Alright, so this is the first of this series. So this is about health. We're covering Minister Inky. Alright, so when I first got into the health scene, I was listening to Dr. Sebi, and it was very informative. It was a lot of storytelling, but he pretty much told you what you needed. And then I found Polite and Minister Inky, and I gravitated towards Minister Inky. And when you research Minister Inky and watch his lectures, you understand that he's given his whole life to learning health, but not just learning health, but learning the health of you and I, and what works better for us, because we're always here. We're the same. We're the same people. Nothing different about us. We're all the same. But genetically, we're not the same. So we need different things. So as I dived into his information, it goes deep. Deep, deep, real deep. So we're going to start right now with Minister Inky. This one is called Minister Inky, Post-Traumatic Slavery Syndrome and Identity Theft by Europeans. Stop.
Why does fear of discussing white-black relations affect your health? What's the significance of every known food allergy being a protein? Are they race specific? What is post-traumatic slavery syndrome? Does slavery have any lasting effects on health? Very important. We went to get smoothies today. Me and Brother Morgan. I got Shorty on blast. We in Dayton, we go to the health food store, and the sister that's making the smoothies for us, I'm just listening to her talk, and I'm asking her questions about the ingredients to the smoothies and all that. And so I could see it in her face. You know how her sister's looking. She got that, who the hell does this nigga think he is, look building up in her face. Till after a while, she just can't control herself, and she's like, nigga, stop asking me questions. You're going to have to wait outside while we make you a drink. Am I kidding?
Exact words.
So, I was like, well, I got to know what's in it if you want me to drink it, and I got to buy it. She's like, no, it's cool. I'm just making a joke. I'm like, no, you're not. You're just probably not used to people asking all these questions about the ingredients. Because it's a shake with protein. I'm like, let me read that protein. Let me see what that looks like. Some other, let me see that too. You got it behind the yeah, oh, well, it's already pre-made. Okay, I don't want that. Say, well, we got this thing over here. Like, yeah, I need to read everything before I get. But I could tell from her demeanor, her response to my inquiries, and her skin, I knew she wasn't really about that life. So I told her, I said, you're not about this life. She said, oh, how you can tell? I said, I can tell. This is what I do for a living. And she said, well, I like the vegetarian stuff, and I'm almost there. But, there's a few things I can't give up, but I'm almost there. So, I gotta, it wouldn't be me if I didn't push a little bit more. So I'm like, what you mean you almost? He said, well, I can't give up chitlins. I'm like, oh. You ain't nowhere near almost there. What you mean you almost there? You stuck on chitlins. But that is a huge lasting effect on health. We eat garbage. We're still eating the things they threw away. We're no longer at that stage where we got to make lemonade out of lemons anymore. No, we can eat whatever we want to eat. So we have to take control of that. Does slavery have any lasting effects on education? Absolutely. This is a term that I created myself. It's called the reference mind state. And it is absolutely left over from slavery and a huge piece of evidence of post-traumatic slavery syndrome. Why? Because we've gotten to the point where anybody that looks like us Anything they're telling us, it doesn't have an official value unless you can give me white references.
Hey, you hear that? If it ain't white, it ain't right. You hear that? So all of us diving into this information and offering up to you guys on pedestals. That's why you won't listen. It's because we had this mind state from slavery where if it ain't white, it ain't right. If your brother's trying to tell you something, you don't want to listen to him. Come on now, you changed his diapers. I'm trying to listen to you. That's what I get all the time. So, that's the first one. That's the first leap we got to take. To each other, with each other, for each other, by each other. Maybe we can repair some of this damage that's been done. But we have to try.
Where are your references at, brother? Are we looking for fact versus fiction, or are we just looking for references? So you got to be clear on what we're looking for. If I write a book, which I have 16 of them, I get something wrong in this book. 40 years later, somebody references that point that I got wrong in this book, but they give a reference. Right. You still the wrong nigga with a reference. Reference doesn't make you correct because you still have to rely on the accuracy of the author. And nobody's infallible. We're all doing our best, but that's what we're doing. So we have to get out of that mind state where it has to be European before it has that. Okay, we got to remember, it's books. When you go to college, when you go to high school, even junior high, etc., all of these things, they're just guiding you through books. They get a curriculum at the beginning of the year and it says which books they want you to read. Every chapter they give you questions on the chapter. They're just guiding you through books. It's good that we had the brother's intro because, and he can testify, all of this stuff is based on us not being responsible for ourselves. All these laws have us as minors. We're not intelligent enough to handle ourselves. So we've got to deal with them. We got to go through them because we're not adult enough to create contracts together. So we got to go through them to create a marriage contract. We got to go through them to create a business. We got to go through them even to read books. We have to have somebody accredited.
You hear that? See, that's why they got us playing these word games, calling ourselves minorities. Because minorities just mean you're an adult in a child's state of mind. This is why we need to go through them to do all these contracts. And we can't do it between each other. That's why I commend Polite on finding out how to do these contracts between each other through the UCC and have them binding where no third party can enter because you're the third party. So we have to wake up because everything is being played against us. When you get stopped by the cops or you go to the court and they're like, do you understand? And you're like, yeah, I get it. I understand. Of course I understand. But what you just told them was that you stand under them and any judgment they make is final because you gave them the authority to have authority over you.
To guide us through a book, you don't need that. All right? Does slavery have any lasting effects on business? Of course it does. We don't see ourselves as valuable, and it shows up all over. Talk to the boss syndrome. Only black folks do that with other black folks. We never ever go to Macy's, and because the shirt was $25 last week, but now it's $30, we demand to speak to the founder of Macy's. No, I'm not going nowhere. Where's the boss? No, the owner. Only in black businesses do we do that. Even in McDonald's, we don't do that. We speak to the supervisor, assistant manager. He don't tell us nothing but what the cashier just told us. And we cool. give me a little certificate, coupon, discount off next time, we cool. We deal with black businesses, we don't do that. Then we have this thing going on. We want to pay less for more when we deal with each other. Meaning, again, we go back to Macy's, Bloomingdale's, all these places. We go to these places and we already know, even Foot Locker, we get ready to pay whatever the tags say, no deal, plus tax, no questions. When you go in your brother's store, what you got? Oh, what's that, 200? Oh, man. Man, I give you 160. And that's supposed to be your brother. No, that's not how you do your brother. Love is when you give your brother more. So when your brother got something for 200, you want to give him 220. That's love. 240. That's love. Asking him to give it to you for half price is not love, because you ain't shipping. You know that you got to pay for that person. So look at all of our people that showed their people love. Look at MC Hammer. He loved himself into the broke house. Antoine Walker. I could run down a huge list of our people that get money, and because we don't understand this concept that we're dealing with post-traumatic slavery syndrome, we show love until we're dead. Love kills us. So we have to get the idea of love correct. Love is when you want to see your brother doing as good as you are or better. That's love. Where you want to give him less than you would give Arab, European, Chinese man. You can't even talk to Chinese people about discount because they play the language game on you. Huh? A 180. A 180. 180. Like I got 180. A tax. A 195. 195. As soon as you start 180, he go back behind the register. He don't know what you're talking about. Meanwhile, you hear him talking later on regular, he don't even speak Chinese. He only speak English. He from here. Because they're not playing that game. Right? So we got to think about that. Right? So we talk about differences in physiology. Here, we're talking about, because the idea is we're on a 40-day fruit fast. And this 40-day fruit fast particularly is the first one that I have added in a workout rhythm.
So that's the problem with us today. The Bible says fast. We don't fast. See, what if you was a fucking, sorry for my language, what if you was a computer and you never shut up? 24/7, playing videos, recording shit, downloading shit, 24/7. What is the most likely scenario for that said computer? It to shut down, some kind of damage. This is what's happening in your body. There's no way that your body can process 3 to 5 meals every single day for 30 to 40 years or more. You're out of your mind. You have to fast. You have to fast. We've always fasted. They fasted to just recently. See, what had happened was they were fasting to the 60s, and then there was the big burst of the grocery markets. And what had happened was the small farmer and the local farmer was starting to get pushed out, and the grocerer, the corporation was moving in. So they had witnessed the religious beliefs of the people, and they had observed that they have fasted. And so during these fast times, the market has seen a drop in sales, and they were hoping to bring these prices or these sales up in those days. So they had made an agreement with the government, said, let's not promote fasting. Let's de-promote fasting. Let's get fasting out of the home. All right? So not today, not even the Christian or the Catholic fasts anymore. When that was their thing, which was our thing that was taken. Like this thing says, identity theft by Europeans. The Bible is just our history and a cheat sheet from the Creator. keep us focused, and we still mess up. We gotta get focused.
With the 40-day fruit fast, and the reason is not enough people were changing their bodies. Not enough people looked a certain way at the outset of the fast and then changed their physique, changed their health, changed their status physically by the end of the 40 days. So I know that people was fronting, right? Because it's the new cool thing, so they just want to be involved with everybody. They're sharing info, it's cool, but they're not living it out. Right? And you can see it on people. So this time we have the fitness aspect, and so to get people to understand one of the things why exercise is so important, this is what we need to get, because losing fat is not only one of our #1 health issues, but it's people's vanity. So we spend, I don't know, close to $1 trillion a year on trying to lose weight, even though we don't spend 10 minutes on trying to figure out what that is. Most of us don't even know what that is. We're trying to lose it though. You know, so we gotta get the science on it. All right, so 20 pounds of fat, all right? In order to burn off 20 pounds of fat, all right? So, you notice, people probably looking at this like, what is aeroside? That is the black genetics term for exercise. I just Don King it. Okay? Love Don King for that. I said, who makes up words? I can make up my own words. I'm changing. You know what? Which aeroside. The reason is because it's oxygen that we need to burn off fat. So, if you're about 200 pounds and you want to come down to 180, right? In order to burn off 20 pounds, you have to take in an extra 65 pounds of oxygen. That's 85 pounds in total. Under pressure, this is the pressure of your exertion during exercise. Your body converts that 85 pounds into 60 pounds of carbon dioxide and 25 pounds of water. 60 pounds of carbon dioxide, 25 pounds of water. Still 85 pounds. You gotta be scientific about this. Energy can never be created or destroyed, so you always have to have the numbers match up. If numbers don't match up, then you're not gonna really be doing anything. So people see me all the time fall off, get a fat stomach, and then 3 months later, I'm sharp on Instagram with my six-pack out again, and they're like, how do you keep doing that? Numbers. Specific science to it. You spend a little bit of time learning the numbers, learning the science, it'll be very easy to manage our body. So, when you deal with this math, 75% of your fat gets expelled as gas throughout the lungs and skin, 25% gets recycled throughout the body as water. Everything gets converted into gas. I sat at the foot of holistic teachers, certifications in schools, etc., and I didn't hear anybody teaching about gas in terms of health. And that was one of the craziest things to me, because everything that we need is gas. Your body runs on gas. It doesn't run on solids. Your body's an ionizing machine. It's looking to turn everything positive and negative. It's looking to turn everything into something more malleable. So your solids, it's looking to turn into liquids, your liquids into gas, your gas into plasma. The two most important basic things you need or you will die is what? Water and air. And they're both gases. Water is oxygen and hydrogen, two gases. Well, air is a whole bunch of gases, but the one we need is oxygen. So we have to get the science of gas down pat. We have to understand, because just as our body runs on gas, our lack of understanding of how gas behaves in the body can also cripple us. Alright? When you crack your knuckle, or when you're out of shape and you go to the gym for the first few times and you hear all that cracking and popping and the Rice Krispies. Right? That's gas. being released from your body, all throughout the joints. Gas. See, I can tell your whole health by the gas you let out. So I can tell what type of diet you on if I come in the bathroom right behind you. You go to the bathroom and then nobody else can use the bathroom for an hour or two. You can tell me anything you want to tell me. I already know what you eat.
Some of that beef, man.
Now, what we got to do is be able to apply enough common sense to know if it smells like something's dying inside of us, something's dying inside of us. Grand opening, grand closing. Monitoring your gas, your urine, and your feces, and your sweat will tell you a lot about your health. Alright? So, we have to understand the science of the nose. Alright? This is why the nose was blowed off of all of our ancient statues. It's the nose that not only can tell directly what your bloodline is, where you're from, etc., because it never changes, but it's the nose that is responsible for all of your brain development. Period. All of your brain development surrounds your nose. So now they have made synthetic electrical noses. Because again, pigment creates the sensitivity and expands your level of awareness. So people that don't have that have to create something synthetic. You can look this up. This is out of India. Now, why I have this here is so that you understand exactly. And you can see it here. It's a lot easier sometimes when we see it as a computer. Sensory system. Extra interface to the world around you.
Okay, I'm gonna move on, but this pretty much was saying that your sensory system, so whatever goes in your nose goes straight to your heart, because your lungs is near your heart. So you have to be careful, because whatever goes in your nose goes straight to your heart. And this is how they're attacking us. Maybe if I can get it.
The sonic system is how, once you inhale,
alright,
those gases get immediately converted into electric.
Okay, so we'll move on.
That if you're looking for a book, like you always got to be.
So there's Minister Inky, Raw and Uncut, Periodic Table, Parental Discretion is Advised, Detroit Part 1. You gotta watch this because there's like 10 periodic tables, I think. I don't know.
Part of the solution, not the problem. So if you're looking for a book and the book's not out there, then that means it's your job to write the book. Right. So that's always been my approach. So the books kind of grew that way. And after having all of the books and the other books that I wrote as well, I noticed that we're still kind of missing the basics on energy. So I just wanted to cover this, and hopefully we can get through this and get through book one today. But if not, we'll finish tomorrow, etc., etc. So this is the Black Gene Ethics 101 crash course. I've never done all three together in one setting, so I'm going to try to give that to Detroit. All right? So, the periodic table of elements. All right? The first thing we want to do is break down elements. All right?
All right, so this is the next video of Minister Inky. So we're covering your health, and today's practitioner is Minister Inky, and he has a lot of raw and uncut information. So right now we're jumping into Minister Inky, Raw and Uncut, Periodic Table, Parental Discretion is Advised, Detroit Part 1. And as you can see, God is relevant because he got the elements. All right.
So we have L and Ment. All right, L and Ment. These are the two pieces of this word, element. All right. Now the first thing we have, we'll go backwards. Ment is a suffix. All right, forming nouns expressing the means or result of an action. So this follows a prefix or root, and it's basically just telling